Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Claire Hanney. I'm the Head of Travel Experiences for Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold, which are two of the very best brands in the travel industry. So I feel like I've hit the jackpot in terms of working with the best of the best.
How did you start? When you were younger in school, did you think you'd be doing something like that today, or how did it
I
all
didn't
start?
even know it was possible when I was in school. I think I was inspired by my parents with a love of travel, definitely. I grew up watching slideshows of my mother's travels through Europe when she was young, and she had done a Kentucky tour of Europe when she was a young lady exploring the world. And so I knew that I always had an interest in the travel industry, and through her. So the first thing I did when I graduated uni and saved enough money was to go on a trip myself around Europe. Fell in love with it and decided that's what I wanted to do every day. So I worked really hard to become a tour manager for Kentucky, and then worked my way up through the Travel Corporation family of brands until I reached the pinnacle, Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold.
So you would say this is like the best job in the world, right? Because
Well, it is for me. I'm not sure if it is for everyone, but it certainly is for me. I mean, I get to... The crux of my job is to make people happy, and I think that is really important in life, to remember that we can all be happy no matter what's going on in the world. And it's my job to create holiday experiences that will absolutely make people happy every day of their holidays, so that they can live with those beautiful memories, sharing them with special people, and look forward to the next one, really, because I think looking forward to something amazing is as important as the actual travel experience. So I try to curate new journeys for them to look forward to something else.
do you think there is any difference in any cultural differences? Like if you're planning something for a Asian traveler, or someone from an Australian traveler, or American, or European, are there any differences, or you think travel is just a universal thing that?
No, there's definitely differences in what different cultural backgrounds prefer in their travel. I create trips for people who are from English-speaking background, but at the same time, there are very diverse different interests from different people, and I don't want to overgeneralize, because there are obviously some people from each culture that are different, but even if you look at the travel habits, so someone from Australia, for example, wants a much longer trip, typically speaking, because they have to come long haul to get anywhere out of Australia, so they want something that's a lot longer in duration, whereas someone who comes from Asia is typically after a much shorter duration trip. But they want the same thing when they get to that location. So it's about being able for me to be able to piece together parts of the itineraries that will work well for those who want long haul and those who want short haul. When they arrive, they still want to understand the culture of the place very well. They still want to try fantastic food. They still want to meet amazing local people. So from that perspective, the travel's not so different for a different culture, but from the mechanics of what they are expecting from their trip, that's where we find differences.
So does that mean for all the trips that you plan, you actually go and experience them?
Absolutely. So I like to say, in order to find your prince, you've got to kiss a lot of frogs. So I have to go and try out the venues to make sure that they are of the standard that we would expect, and I have to make sure that we are delivering experiences that are of the level that our guests want, and you can't do that sitting in an office.
So what do you look out for when selecting a destination venue for Luxury Gold?
That's an excellent question. Firstly, I look out for the fact that our guests would want to travel there. So I look at who our guests are and what's missing from our portfolio already and where they might like to go next. I look out to make sure that the infrastructure in that place is good enough to be able to support an excellent level of trip. And then realistically, if there's the demand and the availability in a place, then that sounds like a great destination for me to explore more. When I get there, I like to do things that have never been done before or are things that are off the tourist trail. So I'm not looking for things that everyone else is doing. And in some cultures, that's quite difficult to be able to manage. Our new trip, Majestic Japan for Luxury Gold, took me a good couple of years to put together because the culture there is very much, this is how we do things, and being able to do things differently from everyone else and much more in a local standard was challenging to put together. But now we've got a beautiful itinerary that does some areas of Japan that other travellers just aren't going to, which is really exciting. So, you know, we like to get off the beaten track and do things that other tour operators or individuals, even when they're travelling by themselves, don't do.
How do you select the destination? Is it based on analytics or statistics? You know, everything's about data these days, right?
Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is, and there is certainly some analytics there. We ask our guests who've travelled with us before where they want to go to next. I mean, it's a really basic question that they then tell us. So every guest who travels with us gets asked where they would like to go next with us. And if we don't have that destination, then we set it up for them. The truth is that we find that we've got a huge percentage of repeat guests. So once they've travelled with us once, they want to come back to us time and time and time again. And that's for very simple reasons. They find that their experiences are tailored for their requirements. They find that they're luxurious and they find that they're exceptional. They're something that they can go home and tell their friends and family about the amazing experiences they have. So when you've got that level of beauty in each trip, we need to continue to provide options for people to travel with us to their favourite destinations or the destinations they're thinking of going to next. So that's the simplest way.
Yeah. Word of mouth, right? Just asking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ask and you shall receive.
Ask the question, they tell you.
Any memorable experience when hunting for your venue?
Any memorable experience? That's an excellent question. So many. I guess coming back to Japan, I probably went to 20 different tea ceremonies in Japan, and they just I walked out of all of them absolutely bored. Not because the tea ceremony is too boring, but because of the way that they present it. They tell you about everything, like this spoon is used for this and this is used for this, and they're telling me about the history of the tea ceremony, which is all very interesting, but it's something that we can do before you even arrive, so that when you arrive you can just enjoy the tea ceremony like if you were going to be a Japanese person doing the tea ceremony, you would. So eventually I found a beautiful venue in a lovely garden that feels beautiful, but also is that sort of level of sophistication about it, but it's also fun because people get to sit around and have a chat like you would when you're having a cup of tea anywhere else in the world. So I guess sometimes you have to go to a lot of places to find the ones that are going to be of the standard that's appropriate. But part of the joy of the job, I guess.
So are you a tea or coffee drinker?
Both. I mean, yeah. Well, why limit yourself when you can have?
That's true. I also enjoy both.
Yeah.
But I always have a cup of tea before I sleep, especially when I travel. Strangely, I don't know why. So back home in Singapore, I just drink any tea.
Any tea. Bit of caffeine before bed, because
I'm okay as long as I get sleep. I'm very happy already. Yeah, but it's a strange habit for me when I travel. I mean, do you have any strange habits when you personally travel?
I'm definitely a creature of habit. So, I mean, I go to places, you know, most people when they travel somewhere, they'll go once or twice. I've been to Paris 80 or 90 times, you know, I go to places a lot. And I have rituals in every city that I go to. I have my favourite restaurant or cafe or something like that. I certainly have places that people know me because I go there so regularly, and I like to feel at home wherever I go. So that certainly is a big part of my travel.
So you would say Paris is your most travelled to destination?
No. I've probably Thailand has got to be up there as well. I've spent a lot of time in Thailand. I grew up in Australia, so I've spent a lot of time there, but now I've spent the better part of 15 years here. Scotland I go to all of the time. I absolutely love Scotland.
Is it for the whiskies?
I love whiskey, yes. Shh, don't tell anyone.
That's my secret.
Oh, your secret too? I love it. No, I love whiskey, but at the same time, I just find, for example, I've done the West Highland Way, which is an 100-mile walk through the Highlands there. I've done that a number of times. It's because it's beautiful. But just the majesty of Edinburgh, for example, it's on our new British Royale trip. We're heading to Edinburgh for 2 fantastic days there, and our guests get the opportunity to meet one of my friends who's a piper up there. He was the Queen Mother's favourite piper, and he is the funniest man I have ever met. He just has me rolling around laughing, and I'm really excited that I guess we'll have the opportunity to meet him, because I think when people think of Scotland, they think of bagpipes, but nobody thinks of them and goes, oh yes, I can't wait to hear bagpipes. They're a bit edgy about what they'll sound like. But when you have someone explain the history of the bagpipes, and you see a set of pipes that he's got that have been passed down through generations, they've been pipes that have piped the Scottish Army into battle over 100 and something years, and you hear about the family and the traditions of bagpipes. It's all of a sudden very fascinating stories, and I think that meeting those types of people who you wouldn't meet if you were just going to turn up to Edinburgh for the first time, but after I've been 80 or 90 times, you start to get to meet people, and get a community there, so you get to meet the most interesting people. That's one of the things I love about my job, getting those people to be able to meet our guests from all over the world, who can then enhance their own travel experience and take something that they would never have had the opportunity to try back home with them.
Are there any highlights for this new itinerary besides Edinburgh and London?
Oh, so many! It's so beautiful. It's one of those itineraries that just touches on the most beautifully elegant parts of the UK, particularly England and Scotland. We head to, in Bath, we have a beautiful experience in Bath, beautiful Michelin star restaurant that we're heading to in Bath. Bath is one of those majestic cities that just feels special. All of the sandstone in Bath is from the same quarry, so it just feels absolutely stunningly designed as a city. And then we head up to York. In York, we're going to the Harlow Car Gardens, which is Royal Horticultural Society garden. Spectacular. We meet one of the head groundskeepers there, who discusses how to maintain a garden of that level at that sort of size, and we have a picnic after it closes to the public. We have a picnic out in the gardens. Now, understanding that the weather is it is British weather, and I'm really pleased to say that you're here for a visit now, and the weather is perfect. It's raining, it's grey, it is absolutely perfect weather. Because if you didn't get to experience this weather, you'd go home feeling a little bit ripped off.
It's my second time here, and it's still like that. The first time I saw was in June, and it was raining, it was grey, it was cold.
Oh.
I didn't bring any sweater at all, because I thought summer, right?
Always bring layers.
I
Always
was
bring
freezing
layers.
in Silverstone.
No, but there are plenty of stunningly beautiful days as well, and in the gardens at that time it's just spectacular. But at any time it's interesting to hear about how to keep the garden that stunningly beautiful. And I think that one of the things in the UK is that if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes and it'll be different. But it means you do need to layer up.
Yep. So I mean, there are itineraries in May as well as August, if I'm not wrong, for this itinerary. Are there any differences in May and August?
Well, we have it running throughout the year, so we've got a number of different departures of the British Royale throughout the whole summer. We've got a couple of special departures of it that are what we call Chairman's Collection trips, where we're actually meeting the Duchess of Northumberland on those trips, and we go through her home and gardens at Alnwick Castle, which is just up in the north of England. It's absolutely beautiful. On all of the departures we'll be visiting her home, but on 2 of them you actually get to have lunch with the Duchess.
She's
and she
your
takes
friend
you
too?
Yeah, absolutely, why not? Well, she is now. No, in all honesty, I mean, she is a friend to us in terms that we have been visiting Alnwick Castle for years, and it's a beautiful spot, and she's grateful for the support that we've given her and her family. I mean, maintaining a beautiful house, it sounds stunning to live in a massive property like that, but the pressure is on those families to maintain these beautiful estates, and they take a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and a lot of money. So by taking guests to be able to see them and explore them, it does also help maintain the heritage of the property, and to maintain to be able to pay for the upkeep of that sort of property. I mean, it's not like living in Downton Abbey anymore, unfortunately, where they get to live the high life without any other income. So she's a friend of the family now. Absolutely.
Would you think the luxury gold customers are less inclined to whipping out their phones and social media, or do you think the same as millennials today?
I'm not sure they're exactly the same as millennials, but every single person on the coach travels with at least one form of smart device. So at least one, usually 2 or 3. Most people will have a smartphone as well as an iPad, and a lot of people will travel with a third device of some kind as well. I don't think that travel's changed as much as we'd like to think it has. I just think access to information has changed differently. But even in that environment of access to information, I think one of the key factors to why we are still so successful and will continue to be successful and relevant as guided holiday companies, even in an age where access to information grows and grows, is that we are able to curate travel experiences that will continue to keep people happy, and it's not that easy to be able to pull all of that information together quickly by yourself. So while you've got access to a large amount of information, being able to pull that together to create the ultimate holiday for you is very, very challenging for someone sitting at home in Singapore or wherever they are, whereas we have the resources to be able to do that very well, and I think that that's why guests continue to love travelling on guided vacations. I also think that it's a big part about travelling with like-minded people. So Luxury Gold does have a lot of young people travelling on Luxury Gold. We've got a large amount of people in there, not necessarily millennials, but certainly a lot of people in their 30s and 40s who are very busy professionals who want the ultimate holiday but do not have the time to be able to plan it. And when they get on holiday, they don't want to have to think about absolutely everything that's going on. When they get on holiday, they want to let someone else do the planning. In terms of what guests today are really looking for, they absolutely want to have fun on their vacations. They want to make sure that someone else is taking care of all those little details for them. And we're sitting here in a beautiful suite of at the Milestone Hotel in London, which is the hotel that we kick off our British Royale trip from, this was the inspiration for the Luxury Gold brand for me. So the chairman, Mr. Tolman, created Luxury Gold brand, and it was my job then to put all the experiences together and pull all the itineraries together, which was super exciting stuff to work on. And I came here for the day and did a behind the scenes day to find out what they did to make the standard. I mean, they're one of the best hotels in the world, and certainly one of the best hotels in the UK. And I spent a day behind the scenes with the team here to find out what they do to make everything just that bit better. There was a lady who walked into reception and she said, "Oh honey, aren't the gardenias beautiful?" And she walked out and continued on her day. Immediately, reception called housekeeping and made sure that there was a bouquet of gardenias in her room when she got home, when she got back from her sightseeing for the day. They take care of every little detail, and that's certainly something that we've really worked hard to make sure comes across through every vacation, so that guests have such an amazing time every time that they want to come back to us time and time again. It's pretty simple.
Yes, I realize the service here is excellent. The level of detail, marvelous. I mean, I was quite wowed away, and of course also the neighborhood is amazing.
Yeah.
Yesterday we took a walk behind the hotel, and the residential area is nice, and then the palace is just across from the hotel. Is so convenient. So was that also one of the reasons why this hotel, out of the 5 reincarnation hotels
Absolutely.
in London was picked.
Yeah, for luxury gold, we have to have the best location for a guest experience. So best location doesn't always mean right on top of the tourist sites, if you like. For me, best location means you walk out of your front door, you feel comfortable to explore the area, there's some lovely restaurants around. For your free time, there's beautiful things to do and see, and it's well located for your own transport if you want to travel on your own, or for our transportation, whatever that might be for the city, to be able to make sure you can get around easily. So yeah, definitely location was one of the key driving factors for selecting this hotel, but also that's the same principle we put in place everywhere that we travel with luxury gold.
Any tips on the next destination that you'll be picking on?
I'm not sure I'm allowed to let the cat out of the bag on that one. We do have 2 new destinations coming for luxury gold in next year, but they're top secret at this stage. But you'll be the first to know. I'll tell you before anyone else. There you go, but I can't tell you yet. We're still finalising the details. I'm super excited about them, and they're beautiful locations that I've personally been to many times, and I know that our guests will absolutely love. And they're nice short durations, so that
Asians can go.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when will you come and visit us in Singapore?
Well, my best friend lives in Singapore, so I come over quite regularly. I absolutely love it as a hub for travelling around the area as well. I love the breakfasts in Singapore. You nail the buffet breakfast kind of concept. You really sort that out.
You never go hungry in Singapore.
Never been hungry in Singapore. Absolutely not. No, I love Singapore, so I'll be there soon.
Good. Give us a call when you're
absolutely.
in town.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank
you
so
you.
Much.
Pleasure.